Morning, everybody. It's good to see everybody. So thank you for coming this morning. And I want to thank our YouTube audience for joining us this morning in the sacred energy of Circle. And today you're going to be able to watch our evidential mediums as they connect with people who have crossed over to the other side and deliver messages from those people. And our hope is that by watching our mediums at work, you'll come to understand that the loved ones that you may have lost are in fact still with us. So please join us as we open with a prayer. Holy Father, Mother God, thank you for allowing us to come together today in service of spirit. Please help us to open all of our senses, physical and spiritual, so that we can receive your messages without interference from our own minds. We humbly ask that you make this circle an uplifting and joyous experience for everyone in attendance. Please ask the spirits who recognize the voices in this room to join us this morning so that we will know that they watch over us, love us, and protect us still. And please allow us to deliver the information presented by Spirit with grace and compassion, in complete trust and respect of your infinite wisdom. Amen. All right. So we have 6 people. I think we could go, how about 10 minutes each? Does that work for everyone? And you can break that up into 1 reading or 2, whatever you would like to do. Okay. And so I would say that somebody should just jump in there and do it.
I'll jump in and do it.
Thanks, Tammy. Okay, show them how it's done.
Well, I don't know about that, but I do have a woman here who I believe would be a friend. A friend. She could be a cousin, but would be a friend. And the thing that she shows me is she's a very attractive woman. And the thing that came through, one of the first things, and it came through very strongly, was that she likes to wear or wore or had a top that had like an animal print. And there's something about this top with this animal print that must be important. And so it's a button down. It's like a button down, but it's got an animal print. And she's kind of showing me the sleeves and how they fasten at the wrists. And I don't normally describe their appearance, but she does seem to be blonde, and she takes great not great pains, but she cares about how she looks, and so she wears lipstick, and the name that came through was it was Deborah, but I'm not feeling super confident about that name just because of the way it came through. So I'm hoping that another name will surface as we get going with this. But let's see if that's enough information to see who she's here for today. So a friend who, would that resonate? I know it's not a lot of information just yet, but this top seems to be important to her, this animal print, button down. Resonating with anybody just yet? Not yet. Okay. So let me. She's also drawing my attention to a necklace. It's a gold necklace, and oh, it's funny. I feel like it's somewhat similar to what I'm wearing, but that it's a gold necklace that has it has some kind of decorative element, every few kind of inches, and let me just let her come in a little bit stronger. She's also someone who would have enjoyed. She's showing me like laying out by like a pool or some body of water. So she spent time actually tanning herself and enjoyed that a lot. And she just said, "Here's my friend Tom." Um, He has more to say than I do. So let's just see who Tom is. Um, Tom was a banker. Um, he was married with children. This is really a funky. This is not the way my readings normally progress or digress. But let me just check in again. Who does anybody have a Tom in spirit? Do you, Carol?
Actually, it's the tanning that, like, I'm understanding now.
Okay, okay, like even with those like reflective things.
Exactly, with the reflective things. Now, the problem is I don't have a lot of information about this person.
Okay, okay. Would you understand that she is connected to a Tom,
Yes,
the banker? Okay, thank you. Okay. And would Tom be living? Is he embodied or is he somewhere else?
he's in spirit.
He is in spirit. Okay. So that's why she said, okay, I'm here with Tom. That would, okay, right. I did say that. That makes sense then. Okay. So, okay, let's just see then, because it sounds like Tom might have, according to her, more, more to say. So let's just see. So Tom is saying that he was pretty strict about keeping the numbers, compulsive.
Yes.
Okay. He said he worked with a lot of gals, and that's how he's calling them, a lot of gals, and he kept his eyes on them. But I don't feel like it's eyes on them like in a, an attraction sort of a way, but like making sure they were doing everything right. Um,
Right.
okay. Okay. Now he's talking about there was nothing better or nothing like and it's some kind of food and it has meat in it. And I feel like it's like a sloppy Joe or um, like, beefy sandwich with beef, but um, so that's coming through. That might not be something that you would know. Um,
Actually, I think I do.
do you? Okay. So it's like some kind of big, juicy, you know,
Yeah.
kind of like really just they piling the meat on, and they're, nothing better. And okay, so let's just see here what else he wants to share. Okay. He's showing me, he said, well, he's saying, and he's also showing me that he was the kind of guy that, like on the weekends, he'd be out, like mowing his lawn. It's very Mad Men kind of feeling, and well, not really so much because I guess they didn't really do that. It's more like a um, Leave It to Beaver kind of vibe in terms of, he worked during the week and then on the weekend, um, he's showing me a scene of kind of being out and taking care of his yard, waving to neighbors. So I do feel that I feel that he was outwardly friendly, and I'm saying outwardly, and I want to understand why I'm being kind of pulled to say outwardly friendly. So let me just. It's really interesting because other neighbors. Wow, this is really kind of different here. Other neighbors have a really a different opinion of him than he has of himself.
Everybody had a different opinion of him.
Really funky. Like it's almost like they know something and it's all kind of with hush hush, but nobody's saying anything, or they may be saying things, but it's like I almost feel like he's unaware of how he's perceived by others. Would you understand that about him?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. He's also describing himself as um, much like a nerd. and it actually enjoyed. This is probably not something you would know because it's, but spending time like in his study, in his house, and so I just there's something really funky about him where I feel like he's got this whole other side to him. I feel like he puts this veneer out there, and then he's got this whole other kind of, um, oh, I'm not sure how to describe, questionable, questionable, I would say questionable.
We
Other,
often wondered.
that's what that is. Really? Oh, that's interesting because that's what's coming through. Um, okay. Okay. So yeah, he's saying he was into some dark stuff. Um, Not dangerous, but just kind of dark and not, kind of unacceptable, um, in this human space. Um, Nothing he's terribly proud of. And let me just, see what last thing he might want to share, um, as he's coming in today. Share with you. So he's saying that he really did have that good side. There was a good side to him,
Yes. Mhm.
and that's the side he really wants you to remember because we're all human. Oh, and he's got a little sense of humor. He said, "At least you all are." That's very funny. Um, and he's saying he can be amusing. He can have a little sense of humor. He can loosen up a little. When he wants to. And please just remember the good part of him. And I'm going to leave you with that. With Bob, was that his name? I've forgotten. Thank you. Thank you.
I will do that. Thank you, Tammy. Well, this was certainly not what I expected on a Saturday morning.
Yeah.
But for context, this actually goes back to the 80s, which explains the sexism in that reading. Okay. He kept his eye on the gals, and that is exactly what he called them. Okay. The woman that you talked about initially with the very loud clothes, okay, and the jewelry and the tanning was the woman who worked directly for him. Okay. So that's how it made sense to me because he was talking about a coworker, but then talking about the dark side. He married a woman who looked just like him, literally. And everybody whispered and said, "Is that his sister?" Because she literally looked like him. Okay. And, you know, DNA gets messed up because people have affairs and things like that aren't spoken about. But literally, this woman that he married looked like his sister. So
Wow.
there you have it. Okay. But I will remember him for um being a kind man, which he was, but it was a weird situation. So
It was.
so I thank you for that, Tammy. Okay. But now I wanted to ask you, just because you were willing to jump in there today. And I wondered if you would talk to the people who are listening for our YouTube audience about the difference between pre-linking and just hopping right in there. Can you explain the difference for them?
Sure, sure, sure. So pre-linking is when before it's your turn, if you're putting your light out and asking or inviting a spirit to come close. And so you already are gathering information before it's your turn to go. Um, so that would be pre-linking. Otherwise, you have not done that, and it's your turn. and you just start and you just see who comes right then, and you've got no previous information that has come in. I would say that would.
Okay. And what are the benefits of working one way versus the other, would you say?
Gosh. Well, I would say that for mediums who are newer or just starting to train, pre-linking is really good because they can gather more information and maybe feel a little bit more secure because they know they've got something there and they've got more and more information. Also, for some mediums who treat it, which is a lovely way to work as well, treat it like one of those little um, dolls within dolls, those kind of little Russian dolls, dolls within dolls. If you're just trying to go deeper into certain pieces of information, then you probably want to start out with, or you could start out with more information to help you start to make that happen, almost like dominoes. It can work like that. It can work like that as well.
Okay.
Uh, yeah, and some work better that way. Some work better having some information ahead of time. For me, I usually like to have at least one, maybe two pieces of information. In a setting like this, it's like I know somebody's there. I've gotten like two pieces of information, and now I'm ready to jump in because I just assume it. Then the energy will pick up, and they'll start communicating. So
But you just demonstrated that it's not required because you had no information when you went in on that reading. You just did.
actually, no, I had the woman. What did I have? I had the woman who came in, and in my mind map, I knew where she fit in, and I had the top she was wearing.
Okay.
That's what I had. And
Okay. All right. Well, that I think that's helpful, to mediums who are just starting out. So thank you. All right. Joanne has asked to go next. Are you feeling it, Joanne?
Yeah, I'm not trying to pre-link, but adding to that, when you do this for a while, spirit comes to you and you tell them to hold on. And I have a bunch here, and I'm with you, Rini. And the hard part with that is being a medium is sometimes you'll think it's one, and I'm going to try to connect with all of them. And I think for myself, I don't know if anyone else feels that way, have a rush of energy, and it's like, ah. So I try to calm that down. Rini, may I work with you? And I have your beautiful family. I have like I'm feeling your mother, your sister, your brother, and I'm gonna, as you know, we're doing evidential mediumship. Your sweet mother is standing there. She's holding the fort. She's like grounded. And the first thing is she is sharing. She wants to, did you make that banana bread? Because she's telling you to make the banana bread because you're so concerned about the anxiety that she's giving me that is churning within yourself, that she's like, the feeling and going back and just to remind you that you've been there for so many other people, that she wants you just to understand that just make the banana bread. Make the banana bread. That's all you have to do. Just make the banana bread and give it to whomever you want to give to pay them back. Um, and she is now showing me a place that you go to in your home right now, because she's making me the feeling that we are all aware that there's construction going in her home, but she is sharing with me that you have a place with all this chaos that you go to. Would you understand that, Rini? Thank you. And and I feel she's showing me an Afghan. Uh, there's a place that you go for comfort. That's what she's showing me. And I feel like there's a blanket. Would you understand that? Oh, okay, thank you. and your sister's trying to jump in now, and I'm going to connect with her. And it's interesting, your sister always comes in joyful and and happy. Uh, but she also, I felt, can be very deep with you and have those deep conversations. Do you understand that with your sister?
Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah.
because she's coming in a little differently. Like I feel there's energy, but it's a little tamer today. Um, and she's now showing me ways for you to, she's giving me the feeling of I don't know if you do this, but to draw. And I had, and I just want to mention this, I have a friend of mine who introduced me to Zen Tangle. And it's the drawing like you draw, and it's sort of a meditational drawing. And and she's sharing with me that you're very creative that way. Um, have you been drawing and drawn to drawing just recently, Rini?
I was in a class last night.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Rini. But she's also sharing with me that it'll be very beneficial for you to do that as well. Your brother Robert, I know you have a large family. And it's interesting that and doing mediumship, we forget things because we're always like tapped in, Robert. And um, so he's now sharing me about the foundation of your home. And it's more symbolism now that he's sharing that the foundation of your home is being built, and know that just like the foundation of your home is being built, you are being built as well, Rainey. And I have a lot of like um emotion around that. And I felt like he was a person that would be there and jump in head first to help and assist people. Would you understand that around your brother? Like he, even though I don't think he had like anything to stop him, like he could do a lot of things. He's very handy, your brother. Would you understand that, Rini, around your brother? Okay. I'm having so many people and I'm trying to give them a voice today and not just stick with one, just to I'm getting another woman who is a friend. And yeah, she's showing me the beaded skirt. And just for the audiences, we want always to get more information, especially when we work with one another. And I'm telling her to give me more information, detailed information. I know it's her because she's showing me the beaded skirt. She came through before. But I feel her energy, like they're showing me they're there with you, Rini, and they're supporting you, Rini. All of them. Like you have a team on the other side, and it's so beautiful, Rini. And the feeling I'm getting that they're sharing, and I know I shared this message before, and the whole process of sharing with mediumship is we want to give evidence, but I have to trust spirit. And the message is, Rini, lean into yourself because you're a beautiful soul. And I want to cry. You're such a beautiful soul. And once you lean into who you are as a person, that weight will be lifted off of you. The weight will be lifted off of you. Your sister now says, go out and dance. I see your friend putting on that belly dance skirt. Go out and dance. Be the shining light. Your mother's make that banana bread. Like they want you to. And your brother's saying the foundation is being built. Don't worry about it. It is being taken care of. Yes, they understand that there's hurdles and there's obstacles that you have to cross. The most important part is to be yourself, Rainey. Be yourself and who you are. And I'll leave their love with you.
Touching. I woke up this morning thinking about making banana bread, and I opened the freezer and a banana falls out. And I do have a brother, Robert, in spirit. Um, I do understand about the foundation. That message makes a lot of sense. And my friend and I had those belly dancing skirts with the jingles on them. You did good. Thank you.
You're muted, Carol.
Yes, I am. That was a beautiful reading. And the one thing that always amazes me uh, is that you talk so much about current things that are going on in your sitter's life. Like, the banana bread was one thing. And then you also said that they were encouraging her to continue to draw. Okay. And Rini, I believe you confirmed that you were in a drawing class last night. Is that correct? Okay. I, I, I'm just so amazed by this ability to speak to what she is doing now, because that means that they're watching her now. Can you speak to that at all? Like how that happens? I know it's an abstract question.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah, I know. I think you just answered it. They're always there. They're always there. And I really do believe strongly is when we need to hear from our loved ones, they show up. I mean, just like, when it was just the three of you, Carol, Adrian, and I got a lot of readings. I needed to hear that. They know what we're going through, and it's so beautiful. And it's just a beautiful reminder that our loved ones are there with us all the time. Even though we want them like to be physically here, it's such a beautiful being mediums to be able to bridge that gap between the spirit world and the human world, to give those messages and to remind us as mediums, especially as mediums, because we do this all the time, that our loved ones are there.
Okay, but what about the people in our YouTube audience who may not be planning on going to a medium? Okay,
Mm.
are their loved ones going to try to send signs to them that they're with them at the
Yeah, they do all the time, and they're called synchronicities. Or you can ask for them to come in your dream. You can ask them to give you a message some way. I know with my when I've been really wanting, say, my mother to come through, loud and clear, I will get messages, and they're all different. Like you can ask a specific thing for them to show you. Everyone's different. Some people are birds, some people are hearts, some people, there are different messages for
Pennies,
everyone.
pennies
Pennies,
and
pennies,
feathers.
pennies are
Yeah,
not for me. Yeah. So
yeah,
everyone
yeah,
has their own
yeah.
belief, and they will present that. Yeah. Yeah. And you have to be open to it. They come, it's very subtle. Yeah.
Well, there
Yeah.
we
But
go.
the,
Okay, so that's going to be a challenge for our YouTube audience then. Okay, so try that with one of your loved ones. See what kind of a sign you want them to send you
Mhm.
and ask them for it. See if you get it. Okay,
Yeah.
and if you do get that sign, drop us a note on the channel and let us know because we'd love to hear about it. So,
Yeah, and another thing, Carol, have a journal right next to you on your nightstand, because that way you can write it very
yeah,
quickly if you're, yeah, right after
if,
you've had
if it
that
comes in
dream.
a dream,
Hmm.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, beautiful. All right, Adrian's asked to go next.
Thank you. I just asked whoever I connect with if you guys could unmute and speak because my connection's kind of wonky today. So hopefully no issues during the reading. Um, all right. So I want to throw out a G name like Jerry. And then I know that I have a male here with me. I feel like he kind of brings up it's either a watch or a bracelet, but I want to say that like the band is leather and it might even like snap to like hold it in place. So there's some kind of reference to like a leather bracelet or watch. Um, and the feeling that I get relationship wise is that it's either like a brother or an uncle. Um, for some reason, I almost want to say he feels like he comes in on the side. So yeah, that's a little interesting for me as far as how I get information. Um, and I feel like also that at this point in his life, how he's presenting is he's a little fuller and maybe a little stout. I feel like, his hair is a bit more peppered, whether that's on his hair on his head or on his face. Like I feel like there's a bit of peppered kind of coming in. I don't know. For some reason, I feel like he's maybe showing in like his 40s or 50s, closer to 50s. Um, so let me just check and see if anybody can understand him so far.
Adrian, I can take a man in his 50s with the G name around him. He was like stout.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Um, for some reason with him, I want to say that he kind of feels like he would be a protector or like, I don't know, even father-like at times.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Um, and I feel like he does this because of the age difference between him and like the setter, like he's older.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And there is like this protectiveness around him too. Like I feel like it's almost like taking someone under their wing type of thing. Like he would very much kind of do that with people. Um, yeah, it's just like protectiveness. It's kind of
Yes.
coming in. Okay, thank you. All right, let me see what else I can get from him. So he kind of brings me to like smaller vehicles, like the VW Bug is kind of what I'm seeing, but he doesn't like I want to call it like a buggy or something. Like I feel like I want to call it a different name than what I typically would. Would you understand the reference to like a smaller vehicle that would be similar to that?
I can take a VW smaller car. Yes.
Okay, okay, thank you. And the other feeling I get with that, like it almost feels like maybe racing or like sand dunes or like something like this. Like you could use it for different terrains is the feeling. Would you
Yes.
understand that?
Mhm.
Ah, okay, okay. Well, that's something new for me too. All right, thank you. Okay, and the other thing that he's making me aware of with this vehicle, there's like a really long antenna on it. And I don't know exactly what that would be for, but I feel like I want to reference a really long antenna. Would you recognize that?
I'm not 100% sure.
Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you. I don't know. Let me see what else I can get. I just get this fixing type of personality with him. Like I feel like he's a fixer, whether that's with, you know, relationships with people or even maybe the little, the little vehicles or what, like I feel like he likes to fix things.
Yes.
Thank you. And I feel like he's kind of coming in a little bit with a message at the moment. Would you understand? I feel like this is in reference to somebody living like a living male.
Mhm.
And the feeling I get is like maybe that they're struggling a bit more with life circumstances or situations.
Yeah.
Okay. But also I want to say that like due to those struggles, like maybe they're a little more cranky or irritable than normal.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And so he's kind of coming in referencing that. And he also wants to kind of say, like, don't take any of that personal if they seem a little more cranky or, irritable, because it's not necessarily, even though it might feel directed, at like, say you, for example, or a
Yeah.
person, that it's not necessarily that they're just like, it just feels like under stress or,
Yes.
okay. Okay. Thank you. Um, it also, he's making me aware that for this living person, that it's like they can't quite shake it off. Like the feeling of stress, the feeling of
Mm.
worry, because I do get a little bit of anxiety there.
Yeah.
It's it's hard with their personality to like shake it off.
Yeah.
Thank you. Um, and I kind of want to make reference to like just kind of give it time with them. Like they'll kind of get over things or come around in their own way. But it's just going to take them a little more time to kind of
Yeah.
do that. So, um, and also kind of references. So you would know who I'm talking about with the spirit. You
Yes.
recognize who this is? Okay, thank you. He kind of talks about with you as well. Um, like he just says like there's a lot of different things going on in life too. Some things stressful and some things kind of concerning and a little bit of like worry there. But he says that you do it with so much grace and so much like I keep getting like the words grace under fire type of thing. Like you do it and you make it look so easy. And he just wants to say like how proud he is of you for being able to do that, even though it probably doesn't always feel as easy as you make it look. Um, yeah, so he just wants to come in and say like you're doing really good and like he's very proud of you. He says you have a lot to juggle. So
Yeah.
like he's very proud of like how you're able to do that. And make it look so easy. Uh, I feel like he's also referencing another living male that feels a bit older and it feels like maybe his health isn't maybe as well. Would you understand a living male like this?
Yes.
Okay. And so he's referencing this living male as well. And he's just kind of like, he kind of makes it feel like maybe there will be some extra help coming in. So like maybe not as much will fall just on your plate. Cause I feel like, yeah, like there's another party or another person maybe to come in and kind of help alleviate some of that responsibility. So he says not to worry. Help's on the way. Um, yeah, and again, he's just kind of coming in and just saying like how very proud he is of you because you have so much you're constantly juggling every day and you manage to do it and like keep your head above water and um for some people they may not be able to handle it as well as you do and you really do a very good job with all of it. And so yeah, he kind of just says just like just stay in there and it's gonna eventually kind of calm down a bit. So um so yeah, with that I'll leave him with you and I thank him for coming in and thank you for taking him.
Thank you so much. That was beautiful. My 3 bits of feedback. The VW, the small car, is very important. It was a gift from us to him. And the same make, the same kind of car. My husband races, so it is a race car, and the racing happens near the sand dunes. And I was thinking about the antenna. I think I don't know where the modern ones are now, but quite a few years ago, it was always on the side and it was quite longer. I think it was to say the years, you know. And yeah, I can take the message and I would love some extra help. But so hopefully it comes because it can be quite stressful, just family situations that are difficult at the moment, you know. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, nice job, Adrian. Okay, so now, if it's okay, I would like you to tell our YouTube audience how like, for example, you nailed, you called it a Volkswagen. Okay, you said it was a VW, so you knew precisely what that was. But then there were all other elements of that that you weren't quite sure of. Okay, and you had to describe physically what they look like rather than name them. Okay. Does that happen often to you where you can sometimes like, get it like that, and then other times like, I don't know what this is, but I'm going to describe it? How does that work?
Oh yeah, that probably happens more often than not, to be honest. And it's like for whatever the reason, like it'll be something that I just won't know. And I'm like, but I know I need to say it, so I'll just tell you what I'm seeing. Or I'll just have like a total, brain fart and I'm like, wait, what is this called again? So yeah, but luckily, usually I'm able to describe it enough to where the sitter can understand what I'm talking about. So it ends up working out.
Okay. So this is good for newer mediums who see things and they don't know what they are. Even though you don't know what they are, as Adrian said, it's an important piece of information. Just describe it if you don't know what it is, like she did. Okay. And then Candace understood what it was. So, all right. Great job. All right, Candace, you feeling it?
Yes.
Okay, go for it.
Okay. So I feel that I have a man with me, and I feel that he would have had like such good manners and been welcome, and I feel that he would have been so happy to see you. And he's also making reference to wood, and this could be carvings in the wood. He's showing me like a long flannel shirt that he may have had, or a jacket that was his favorite. Can anybody take this so far? Rini?
I can understand that.
Okay, Rini. And would you be able to take tomatoes also? I don't know if this was like grown in the garden, but I feel like he's showing me this.
Yeah.
Okay. And he's also taking my awareness to like an x-ray, or can you take something with his bones? Did he break a bone?
Yes.
Is it? Okay. Let's see what else. He's showing me something in the pot that he used to enjoy, and I feel like it's mince or like it's meat. Do you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like a hearty meal. And he's also making me aware of dressing up so nicely when he went out, or he may have had like a collared shirt and a hat on. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And he may not have always known how to move, but I feel like he would try. Can you take that with him dancing?
Yeah.
Because he's making me feel that he wanted to lead the way, like he wanted to take pressures off your shoulders and make things easier for you in your life.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I also feel that he would have been helpful in the community too, and he cared about everybody that he like came into contact with or knew.
Yeah.
Okay. And he knew the importance of people having work and a job. And I feel like I care about those people who are out there working hard, like they must get paid for that then. Because people work hard and it's physical manual labor. And I feel that that was something that he also had to do. So he really understood it and respected that.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. He's showing me something that looks like a Jeep or a bakkie where you can actually stand on the back of it when somebody's driving. And I feel that this would have been something that he would have maybe wanted to do when he was younger or a child. Does that make sense how I'm wording that?
Don't know what that is.
Like a car with an open back where you get to stand on it at the back.
I'm not
Do you know
sure.
what I mean? Okay, I'll leave that. I just feel like when he was younger, he would have wanted to do like more adventurous, fun things. Does that make sense better?
Yeah.
And he would be happy outdoors, and he's showing me a tree, and I feel that he would entertain himself, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And do you know if he maybe joked when he was younger that he was strong and he had lots of muscles?
I don't know that.
Okay. Let's see what else. But I feel that he's making me aware of that you always put your like good foot forward, and it's always helping other people. And he saw this kindness in you, and I feel like I have lots of gratitude for it. Can you take that?
Yeah.
And he says you don't just do things because you have to, you do things because you want to.
Yeah.
And he never wants you to like stop smiling and be your joyful self that you are inside. Because just your presence is what makes people like have a smile on their face and makes them better, even if it's just in an energetic way. Because I feel that you would sit with him and you would hold his hand and you would make him feel special. Can you take that?
Yes, I can.
And you would know when he, like, I feel like he's trying to make you smile or laugh. Like you would know when he needed like a clean shirt on or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let's see. I feel that he's making reference of a plant that that may have been given to you. Does that make sense? It looks a bit like reeds or a fern. I feel like he's making reference that it was given to you and you've planted it.
I'll have to think about that one.
Okay. He's talking about it having to be like more in the shade. just feel like he's making reference of. And I know that they're working on your home, Rini, but I feel like he's saying that things needed to be removed so that you could have better view, or there were things that needed to be seen. And it wouldn't have been seen if it stayed the same.
Yeah.
Okay. And I feel that with his personality, he's also making me aware of like wanting to stick up for you like a big brother would. So can you take this for being your brother?
Yeah.
And I feel that he's making reference of a hard time that you went through in your life. And I feel like I just want to say, like, let us just sit and be and talk together and have conversations together, because I feel like you cherish those moments where you could just talk to somebody that you knew had your back, where you felt safe and loved.
Yeah.
And would there have been something when he was younger where he had to go to, but I feel like he didn't want to go and you stood up for him, like you didn't go and tell your parents?
Probably.
It could be church service or something like that. He was giving me something like that as an example, where he just wanted to go and run and play rather.
Probably.
Okay. And can you take pieces of wood in the wheelbarrow? Like,
Yeah.
okay. And I feel that when I'm hungry and I don't want to cook, I can just like pour a tin into a bowl and eat that. And he's given me that example of like corn.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And that's why I also feel like he was so grateful to you, because you would make an effort and really consider like the food that he was eating. You wanted him to eat healthy to get stronger. And he's saying now the roles are reversed and he is telling you you need to eat more healthy. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
To keep your strength up and to keep your spirits up.
Mm-hmm.
And how you may sit outside on a chair on the porch and just like watch the birds and the butterflies and find your joy again. And don't worry, be happy. So I'll leave his love with you.
That was awesome. Thank you. He had
Okay.
a wooden carved monk that we used to talk about, and when he passed, it was supposed to come to me. Didn't get it yet, but I have his flannel shirt. He wore flannels all the time. They were his favorite, and he loved to dance. And the message makes perfect sense.
Thanks.
Candace, I'm always so struck by your readings. And the one thing I have to say about that was so personal. It was almost like you were just having a conversation with that spirit, which kind of amazed me. But the one thing I noticed was you kind of went back and forth between saying, I feel like, okay, then other times you were saying, he's saying that. And it seems to me that you actually change the way, or the way that you receive information changes during a reading. Would that be correct? Okay. Can you explain how that works to our YouTube audience?
I try really hard, but it is quite difficult because you're not in your mind when you are receiving. So I should be more thorough, and how I get it, I should say it. But sometimes I say I feel when I may have even just seen a little vision. So I won't go that I'm 100% correct in what I'm saying, how I receive it, but I really do try my best. And I feel that you can't just say one thing all the time. So when I feel, I try to say I feel, or I'm seeing, or when I say he says, then I have heard something.
Okay. But you actually do receive information
Differently.
those ways differently
Yes.
from one spirit, I guess is
Yes.
the question that I mean. Okay, so they'll use more than one way to communicate
Yes.
information with you.
For
Okay.
sure. Yeah.
You just managed that so well, but did you, when you were learning, did you struggle with that? Were you expecting to receive it all in one way, or?
Yeah, I started very clairvoyant, so I would just see the pictures, wait for the images, and then as I grew and developed, I was taught, you got to feel into the pictures, like see a picture, but then what do you feel with that picture? So I have learned and really known that spirit uses all your senses during a reading, and that's the goal, to receive it in many different ways.
That's the challenge.
Yeah.
Okay. That's the challenge. All right. Well, thank you for that. You demonstrated that very well. All right. I'm going to try to grab a spirit here. Let me see who I can find. Who's out there? Who's out there? All right. This is going to be a weird one because what I'm seeing is, and I don't know what the exact name is for this, but it is the style of animation that comes from Japan. And it's very distinctive. It does not look like Disney at all. Okay. Very, very distinctive. And I have a spirit here. I don't know who the spirit is, but the spirit's talking about a male who is a fan of this style of animation. Does that make sense to anybody? All right, let me lean more into it. I know this is out there. This feels like this might be embedded in video games too, is the other part of this. Okay, so I think the young male is maybe a video game fan. And I am feeling like the male is no more than 20. Okay. Now he's alive right now, but somebody's talking about him. So does anybody know this male who's the video game fan who would be watching the animation in the video games? Does that make sense?
I'm listening, Carol. I could understand a lot of this for the anime and for the video games. And he's about 20.
Oh, okay. All right. Perfect. Thank you, Adrian. Have to be with you then. Okay. All right. So somebody is talking about this young man. Let's see who this is. And I feel like this would, do you know enough about this young man to know his people in spirit?
Yes.
You do? Okay. All right. Because I feel like, would he have a grandmother in spirit?
Great.
Great grandmother? Okay.
Yes.
All right. Ooh, she's really hot under the collar about this. Okay. Um, she's looking at this as being a complete waste of time. Okay. I have a lecture coming in my ear like you wouldn't believe. Okay. But she's talking about um him being on these video games. And interesting, she's insulting the style. in the video games. She doesn't, she's saying they're not even pretty, or, are not even like nice to look at. Okay. She doesn't like the animation itself, but she is angry about the time that he is spending on video games. And let's see what she's talking about a job. Okay. Did he recently get a job?
He's looking for one. Yeah.
He's looking for one. Okay. All right.
Yep.
Let me lean into the job. This is part of the lecture from Grandma. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see what we got. One thing I will say about this woman is she's very, very opinionated. Okay. She's telling him to put it down and look harder. Okay. Because she's saying that he's still, even though like he knows that he should be looking for a job, she's telling him to put the video games down and look harder. Okay. Because she is not putting up with any excuses in any way, shape, or form. Let's see what she's telling, this is interesting, okay, because she's saying that he could be an Uber driver. Okay. He could even do that. She says there's anything that he can do, but she says this video game stuff is just a complete waste of his time. My ear is burning. She's like shouting at me. Let's see. Okay, so she's insulting his manhood, okay, and saying, what kind of man, okay, would do this? Okay, what kind of man would spend his time doing this? She's saying, how does he expect to support his family, okay, when he does this kind of thing? Very, very strongly worded. But I also feel like, and when I lean into her, she feels extremely not only traditional, but she also feels like very, I'm going to say religious. Do you know this woman? Very,
It
very.
could be, yeah, it could be a few different grandmothers. So I'm trying to
Okay,
figure out
all
which
right.
one, but
Okay, let's see if we can pin down which one it is, just for the fun of it. Okay. Let's see. This one would have gone to what am I? I'm looking at a corral. She's showing me a corral with horses in it. So she would have been in that type of environment where there were horses outdoors but fenced in. Okay, does that narrow it down at all?
the two, yes.
You? Okay, all right. Let's
Yep.
lean into it a little more. Okay, tell me more about you. She had a shrine in her house, a little altar type thing. Would you know that? Does that narrow it down at all?
I'm not sure about
Okay,
that.
all right.
I'm not
Show
sure.
me something else. How about a bag of silver coins buried under the floor?
Oh,
You have money
okay.
hidden in the floor?
Then that brings in a third one, but yes, I do know that one.
Okay, all
Yes.
right. Okay. This is the one with the money buried under the floor. Okay. Um, okay, so let's go back and see what she wants to talk about. Okay, she wants to, and she's yeah, she's on a rant about the young man. Okay. And she wants you to the finger wagging is coming in here. Okay. She wants you to tell him that he should be ashamed of himself. Okay. That no self-respecting man would waste his time doing this. She's back on supporting the family. How do you expect to support your family, when you're wasting your time doing this? Go out and get a job. So thanks, Grandma. And I'll leave that piece of advice with you. And thanks for letting me serve spirit.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. Because he doesn't have a family to support. So
No, that's what she's saying. He's not going to get one.
yeah. Well, I don't think that's even a concern of his at this moment.
It's a concern of hers. She wants
yeah, I think it's more her. But yeah, I mean, I guess I can kind of see some of her points, but I think she's being a little over the top and judgmental. So
yeah,
maybe that's more
I
her
agree.
personality,
Yeah, she was definitely over the top, but she does not like those video games.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I want to go back if I can ask you about the Japanese side of that. Is that a thing in his video games? Do you know, or?
I don't know if it is as much in his video games, but I know on occasion he'll watch anime, and like when he was younger, he was kind of into like some of the books and stuff. And we did live in Japan for a while, so there's kind of that exposure with it. So, but I don't know that it's like as much of a thing as it was at one point.
All right, that explains why it came in that way then. So, okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right.
So yeah, very interesting.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. Thanks, Grandma. Always great to hear from those grandmothers giving us a lecture.
Right. Yes.
Oh my goodness. Oh, Tammy, you have a question.
Yes, a question for you.
Uh-oh. Oh, what's up?
Because since you're asking us how we work, I would be very curious to know. So, you had 3 grandmothers there. What's your process for separating, especially, it was even more difficult because it's 3 grandmothers or great grandmothers rather than like 3 totally different people. So what is your personal process for how you separate them? You kept bringing in different, very specific information, but like, how did you get that?
I just ask. Okay, if I have 2 or 3 like that, I'll say, okay, tell me something, that will separate you from the other ones. Give me something specific. And that's when she showed me the money bag, the bag of silver coins that was buried in the floor, and I was actually surprised to see that, because sometimes they're very, like, they would have been secretive about that in life, and they often carry that secrecy over to the other side. But man, she flashed that like that, which was a real surprise to me. So, I'm happy that it worked out that way. So thanks for asking. So, Rainey, are you feeling it?
Yeah.
Okay,
I
go ahead.
have a woman here. She is a mother, and she's showing me a memory of holding this baby girl, and she's just really pampering her. She showed me her changing her and putting powder on her. She smells wonderful. And she's swaddling her up in a blanket and holding her close. She was very, very attached to this baby, very nurturing to this baby. She was also very religious. And she's also showing me an image of the Blessed Mother that she either had special devotion to the Blessed Mother, or when she went to church, she prayed to the Blessed Mother, but there is a connection with the Blessed Mother. She's very, very religious. I'm going to stop there and see if anybody understands.
I'm listening, Rainey.
Joanne. When I asked her to place something in my hand that you would understand, she's showing me like an old-fashioned little kind of fancy change purse, and it has like a little clasp or zipper or something on the top of it. But she has coins in this little change purse. Would you remember this little change purse?
I sort of remember it. Yeah.
And she's talking about that.
Mhm.
There's something about a quarter. Do you find quarters and think of your mom or think of a family member when you see a quarter? There's something with a coin she's bringing up.
I'm thinking of someone else now who gave me a coin.
Okay.
Yeah.
She's also given me a sibling's name with a D. Would you understand a sibling with the name starting with the letter D?
No, but last name starting with a D.
Okay. They're in spirit?
Yeah.
Okay. Talking about them and being close to them. She's also showing me a Bible. Do you remember her reading the Bible?
Oh, yeah.
I feel like there were special verses in that Bible that she may have underlined or highlighted or
Yes.
did something that she's showing these Bible verses as being significant. I know Easter just passed, but she's also showing me the white Easter lilies and them having significance. It could be, with church too, and being the significance of her being very religious too. But she's also saying with the lily, pure.
I understand the lily, but it's yeah.
Okay. But she's also comparing you to a lily and saying that, you're pure and you're just so like she's shown me like a spiritual side to you and just being very kind and pure and loving. She said you exude like this purity. Would you understand that? Or did he tell you that?
There,
You can just say yes or no. You don't have to.
yeah, there's something like
Okay.
yeah, there's something to that. Yeah.
Okay. Because I feel like there's significance to this lily.
Yeah.
She also showing me like a peace around her, around you. I don't know if there is a situation, but I feel like there's a peace, like there's like a wave of peace coming your way. I don't know if there was a situation that you were involved in, but she's showing me just like a wave of peace coming through. There's something with clothes. Did she sew or make clothes?
She did.
Okay, because she's showing me that. And she's showing me like taking her time, like she's also bringing patience into it, that just taking her time with this also taught her patience, like each stitch and just being very careful as she made the garment. Would you understand that? Okay. I also feel there was times when you were standing by her side watching her. Would you understand that?
Yes.
Okay. She's showing me that. Would you understand a religious picture in her room or in the hallway? There, like she's showing me like a religious picture on the wall.
Yes.
with that, she's just talking about blessings being all around you and you being protected. She's also watching over you. She's, you know, she's just very, very deep into her prayer and her religion. Um, I also feel like there's somebody that has recently passed or was recently sick that you were praying over, and she's making aware of that situation. Would you understand that?
Um,
This was probably like within the last 6 months. She's talking about praying for somebody that was very sick or somebody that passed. She's acknowledging prayers.
yeah. I'm always praying for people, but and when they're asking me to pray for them, so
Mhm.
in the last 6 months, I don't know, but I have, yeah.
Okay. She's also showing me a rose, a red rose, and there's a saint that's associated with roses, and she's showing me that, um, like this. She looks like a younger woman, but she's holding all these red roses close to her heart. And to me, red roses mean love, and she's also like taking these roses and presenting them to you and saying that, she's wants you to know how much she loves you and that she's presenting you with all these roses because you deserve them. Each one is like a special gift that you have offered to somebody. Like you said, you prayed for people, for praying for people or doing a good deed for somebody and not acknowledging it. Um, just doing it just because you wanted to do it, not because you had to do it. She says you're very good-hearted and you're very kind, very loving. And with that, she's just giving you the biggest hug and letting you know that she loves you and she's standing by your side. I'm going to leave that with love and light and thank her.
Thank you, Rainey. So the lily that you were saying, I'm trying to break it down. So the lily was very important because a friend of mine, I was, anyway, wanting to hear from my mom. I needed to hear from my mom. So my friend actually just came over, she had planned schedule, and she says, here, I have this for you. And it was a lily of the valley. And she went on to say that this is normally given on Mother's Day. And I knew immediately that was my mom. And the scent and the fragrance, because I once smelled that scent. And I'm like, I even told my daughter, I'm like, did you smell that? And she's like, no. So it's just like this wave of like that smell, that sweet smell. Um, yeah, I'm going to leave that there. As far as the description, there was a nickname, and I'm not going to give that away, but about the pure love and the way you were describing it. The D is my maiden last name starts with the D, and my mother is very proud of that.
Oh,
And I can just share it's de Jesus, which means of Jesus. And my mother used to always say she was married into that, but she said, I'm of Jesus twice over. It was this thing. So of course she would lean into that last name. It was very important to her. The rose, and I'll just say I used to always describe my mother as a rose. She's beautiful, but she could be thorny at times, but she was so beautiful as a rose. Sometimes we have to have those thorns, especially because she had so many kids to get us in line, but she was beautiful. Um, yeah, and I think I sort of, is there any other question you might have had for me, Rini?
just that, she was just putting off the essence that she was very religious in the
Oh yeah.
picture on the wall.
I don't remember the picture, but very religious, yeah. And read the Bible all the time. And the highlight was a thing too. So
Oh, okay. Yeah, 'cause she showed me that, her Bible being highlighted.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, she's very religious and I'm very spiritual. So, but Yeah, thank you, Rini. And I also knew she was going to be coming through because as Carol's timer was going through, there's a number my mother always shows me, and I'm like, oh, my mom's here. I wonder if she's going to come through. And you brought her through.
Thank you. I thank her for coming in.
Thank you, Rini.
Uh,
That was beautiful.
So, Rainey, as I was watching you, I was kind of interested in the way that you get your information. And because you start off by saying, I see so let's go back to that Bible. Okay. I see a Bible. Okay. And then you kind of went deeper into it and you said, she actually underlines the things that are in her Bible, which is kind of interesting. All right. But I'm kind of curious to see, do you actually ask spirits for information, or do you just let them talk and relay the information that they're giving to you? How would you say that works for you?
I just let them talk. And when she brought out the Bible, I was also thinking, what do you want to tell me about the Bible too? At the same
Okay.
time, but not directly asking her. And
Okay.
she opened it and showed me verses that were underlined or highlighted.
That's exactly where I was going. Thanks for answering that, because I was curious, like, once she showed you that Bible, how did you know, that those verses were underlined? So you asked her, what is it you want me to see? And then she opened it up and showed you that she had underlined those verses, which was something that Joanne had understood then. So, okay. So it's interesting, but your whole approach to mediumship is to just have a conversation with spirit like you would your best friend here on earth. Is that right?
Yes, correct.
Yeah. That's very kind. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, ladies. Okay, it's been just a wonderful day, and another successful day on the Evidential Mediumship Channel. So we want to say thank you to our YouTube watchers, and if you like what we do, like us and subscribe, and we'll be back next Saturday, same time, same channel. And in the meantime, I'm going to close this down with a prayer. If everyone would join me, please. Holy Father, Mother God, thank you for allowing us to come together today in service of spirit. Thank you for the gift of mediumship that you have given us, and allow us to use this precious gift to help others who need your healing and love. Bless all of our friends and loved ones and protect them from sickness and harm. Bring joy into the lives of people who have sorrow, health into the lives of people who have illness, and abundance to the lives of people who have little. Thank you for the lessons that you've given us today, and help us to continue to build a relationship with you that is based on love and trust. And always, please help us to be the lights that change this world for the better. Amen. All right. Thanks again. We'll see you next week.